Wait.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Zero Cred Podcast, where we have zero credibility and a lot of opinions. I'm Brian.
I am Warren.
I'm here this week,
Hey!
and I'm John.
Yeah.
Welcome.
It's too low.
Too low. Yeah, we
we
can
go.
hear the sound of the applause.
Okay, that's all you get.
Okay.
Damn. No,
More than
not a lot
anybody
of
else
love.
got.
Wait, okay.
That is true.
No, never mind. It's fine.
Okay.
I feel like I gave him too much.
Damn.
Probably should have rejected some of those cheers.
In this episode, guys, we're going to be talking about a lot of the theories regarding Rey in the next Star Wars movie, and we're going to start off by talking about a couple of things that hit the top topics in some of the comic book movie news this past few days.
Moving news.
Movie news. Anybody got anything they want to start off with? What's the list say, John?
Joker.
Joker. Says Joker.
The final trailer came out.
Yeah.
I've watched it like 3 times.
It looks
Send in
great.
the clown.
Yeah.
It really looks fucking good.
Right.
The cool thing, and some of the news in that is that it released at the Venice Film Festival over the weekend, and to mostly glowing reviews. Like right now, it's sitting at an 89% fresh out of I think 35 reviews, and people are saying that this could be another Oscar-winning performance by an actor portraying the Joker. A lot of people are calling this Joaquin Phoenix's finest performance to date, and saying that he's probably going to take an Oscar for this movie, which would be crazy.
You can almost tell from that just from the trailers. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't just,
He did
hey,
not.
we found a guy to play this role. This is somebody who's like, I'm going to take this to the next level.
Yeah, he didn't phone it in at all.
No.
You can tell by the trailers that he really put everything he had into this performance. And a lot of the guys are saying that Todd Phillips really borrowed heavy from a lot of like Scorsese stuff for this movie. So it's really gritty, it's really dark, and it's very, very it's what a Joker movie needed to be for sure. And I'm after reading all the reviews, I'm like, holy shit, I really want to fucking see this movie.
Do we know, when does this come out?
October 4th.
Okay.
Yeah. So we still got a whole month to get through.
It's not that bad.
It's a lot of days. It's like 30 some odd days.
Oh, no.
It's
I mean,
terrible.
you could just watch the entire Infinity Saga and you'd be there.
Yeah, that's true. Man.
Go ahead.
This is interesting because everyone's like praising this and everyone's excited to see this. And the last trailer really turned me off from this movie, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
I watched that final trailer and I was like, I don't think I want to see this.
What about it?
The vibe of the movie
Okay.
really turned me off. I just like I guess I wasn't entirely sold on the movie to begin with. But some of the other stuff that I saw, and I was like, oh, there's promise, like, you know, because he could just be crazy, and we don't have that kind of Joker yet portrayed. You know, we had Heath Ledger, who was more of like, I've planned this, and now everything's coming to fruition, and it's just kind of bad. Just happens to be bad things happening. Where this guy just is crazy. Like John said previously, you just don't know what he's gonna do when he walks into a room, and that's terrifying. But after watching this trailer, I was just like, I don't think I want to see this, because it just seems like a story about a guy whose life was shit, and he decides to just take it out on a bunch of people.
Well, I think we're going to see him ascend to madness.
Or descend
into madness. It's not just gonna be like everything's shit, I'm gonna start killing people or whatever. We're gonna see him get fucking rocked and see him at his low and see why he becomes what he is. And why. And it's not the true origin of the Joker, because there is no true origin of the Joker, but it's a opening to like, this could be what happened to make somebody be the way we think Joker is in, you know, comics and cartoons and whatever.
Yeah.
And this is just another viewpoint of what could be an origin for someone to be that crazy and unexpected. Because it really seems like at the beginning he's down on his luck, but he's trying. He's got a sick mom. He has a girlfriend in a couple of those scenes. And then something happens where he's on a train putting on a Joker mask over his Joker makeup and smiling because people are going to die. Like, there's got to be a lot in between that.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I'm excited for.
I mean, obviously the trailer explains very well that he wanted to be a comedian.
Right.
And he got brought on the show to be made fun of.
Well, he wasn't on the show.
He wasn't on Robert De Niro's show.
No, they just showed a clip of him doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the point is that
they do bring him on the show, though.
Yeah, I was like,
as the Joker, though.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying that in general, the whole premise is that he was made fun of on live television.
Yeah.
And that is where I feel like the animosity starts. That's the big thing. But also just his life being shitty.
Right.
Because, he gets beat up and he gets terrorized while he's trying to do his job. And I don't know. The trailer did not excite me. Like, the trailer did not get me, like, I want to go see this. I was watching, by the end of the trailer, I was like, okay, well, now I kind of don't care.
That's fair, though.
See,
I mean, hey.
This trailer, like, I was like that before. I was like, this could be cool, but I don't need to see it. And with this last trailer, I have to see this movie because there's a lot of lore in this movie.
Yeah.
So there's a scene, it's in the trailer, where he's in front of a movie theater and Bruce Wayne and his parents are leaving the movie theater.
Yeah.
That's in the movie. And so we don't know if they're going to retcon the origin and have Joker kill the parents or if something, whatever riot's happening at the moment. Because they're like storming out of the theater like something's happening.
Yeah.
And have somebody kill the parents. But like there's a lot of stuff in this movie and trailer that I'm like, this could be very interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I thought I'm like they're just gonna make a psychological thriller and just be like, oh yeah, and he's the Joker, but they're not. They're actually making a DC Batman oriented movie that revolves around the Joker. So that's cool to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's not Jared Leto, so
he was pretty divisive.
I have to hold my tongue sometimes when I hear people say like, "Oh, Jared Leto did a great job." I'm like, "In what scene?" He was in it for like a minute.
Yeah, he wasn't in the movie.
If we had like a whole movie where he could show, like Heath Ledger had a whole movie's worth of badassness, but
yeah, they say they cut out like almost 30 minutes of his footage from that movie because they didn't want him to be the focal point of the movie.
That's why he's going to go play Namor.
Who?
Say no more.
Namor?
Morbius. Yeah.
That guy.
That completely different guy.
That's that guy. You know what I'm saying.
Reading some of the stuff that I've read about it, it actually kind of makes sense that this wouldn't necessarily be a movie that jives with you because there's quite a few people that are actually saying this is almost a horror movie. So that makes sense.
It didn't look scary. It started to lose me.
Okay.
By the end of the trailer, it started to lose me. That's the biggest thing that I started to notice. Like I was like, when I watch a trailer, whether it's at the beginning or the end, there's a point in the trailer where I go, okay, I gotta go see this. Like you have my attention. By the end of it, it had lost me. Like I was just what are we doing? Like I don't want to see this. I'm not gonna go pay money and sit down and watch. I mean, I am because we're probably gonna talk about it. But like they're in the moment watching it, I was like, and it wasn't a situation where like I was like working, trying to watch it too. Like I was on break, I was sitting down and I watched it and had time to watch it multiple times. And it was like, I don't want to see this movie.
That's fair.
I mean, I'm sure it's as amazing as everybody says it is, but just from what the trailer I just saw, like it's just weird because you would think something like that with the reaction everybody is giving and stating that.
Well, the movie doesn't have to be good for the actor's performance to be good. So
I'm not saying that he.
No, so his performance could be, he could be blowing out of the water. That's I lost the whole thing. He could be blowing everybody out of the water with his performance, but that doesn't mean the movie is good.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not going to discredit Mr. Phoenix. I'm sure he puts on a stellar performance. Well, that's what I'm going to call him. Well, I guess I'll be calling him Mr. Oscar after that.
It's very possible.
But I personally am not like gearing up. Like, I'm not like, man, I can't wait for October 3rd.
Well, I can because there really ain't anything else coming out at that time. So, I mean, at least I don't think there is anyway. There could be something else coming out that looks fantastic. But
so I have a question.
Okay, I have an answer. Maybe.
Mountain, maybe.
Mountain, maybe. Mountain, possibly, maybe. Mountain.
No. So, do we feel like the Joker mantra is what creates the clown riots, or them getting behind him with the clown mask is what inspires him to become the Joker?
I think because he's already a clown, it's the first one. I think him being crazy, rioty, killing people as a clown brings on a clown revolution.
Maybe.
Which is terrifying in itself.
Yeah.
Because the only reason I asked, because there was a shot in the trailer where he's walking around as himself, and there are people with masks and stuff on. He's like surprised to see all this support.
Yeah.
That's coming of it. And so I don't know if, I was just wondering, I was like, maybe they start to do the clown thing, and then he's like, oh, like I have something, which gives him the confidence to step out and then start being more destructive and making things on a larger scale happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does something one time and he can't believe that he did something like that, and he's in the clown getup, but then like the public is like, yeah, fucking stick it to whatever he does, to whoever he does. And then he's surprised that he did this horrible thing, but people are like excited about it. And so that might be what that is, where he's just like walking around like, wow, I fucking killed somebody important, but he was shitting on people in the city, and now people are happy and rioting with the clown persona.
Right.
Who knows?
Because then we don't know at what point in time he's being brought on as the Joker.
Right.
Maybe he got brought on, and then that also propelled it into people being like, oh, we're going to wear the mask, and we're going to... Because maybe he does what he does, and then they're like, well, we got to have this guy on the show to explain what happened. Because my guess would be that maybe he does, something happens and he's there, but he doesn't get blamed for it, because there's like, we don't really know what happened, and then this guy's telling us he saw it and he knows what happens. He's going to tell us. He's got the inside scoop. We're going to have him on tonight at 7. And then he gets on the show and he's like, yeah, I did it. I'm the Joker.
I think he's gonna go on the show and do like just be a regular like kind of weird thing, and then he's just gonna kill that guy.
That's what I think too. I think he's gonna kill that guy.
But most likely.
There's that.
And
that's the whole. I don't know.
I can't wait to see it. I really can't.
Yeah.
I know. I'm very excited to see the movie. It looks amazing.
Anything else about the movie we want to talk about before we move on?
No.
Nope.
No. Okay, next.
Do we want to talk about Obi-Wan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
finally,
it's confirmed.
Obi-Wan has come back to the Star Wars universe.
So this is an example of them actually listening to people, the fans, instead of just doing their own shit and trying to force shit upon us that we don't need or want. And finally, like, oh, they want an Obi-Wan movie and or show. Let's give them that. And so we're getting a Obi-Wan movie or Obi-Wan show on Disney Plus with Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi / Ben Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, like, it's been 14 years? Like, come on now.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, I know. Oh God, everybody clamored for an Obi-Wan spin-off movie. You know, everybody. You know how many people, would you say, clamored? Yeah.
For a Han Solo movie?
Yeah. Oh, God.
And so that's what, and I've talked to Warren about this, like, studio, they think they know what we want.
Right, yeah.
When everybody's saying one thing and they do another thing.
Yeah.
And look, now they shut down the Solo, or the spin-off movie section, because Solo tanked. Rogue One was awesome.
Yeah, Rogue One was amazing.
It wasn't...
I finally watched Solo.
It wasn't as successful as like a regular movie, but Rogue One was good. Solo was good.
It wasn't a bad movie.
I don't dislike. I really like that movie, but nobody wanted it.
No, nobody wanted it.
So it didn't perform like a $1 billion movie, like an episode movie. You know what would have made $1 billion? Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I think so.
So everybody wanted two movies. They wanted an Obi-Wan movie and a Boba Fett movie.
Yep, those are the
and
top
they gave
two.
us Rogue One and Solo, and they're like, "Fuck, this shit ain't performing." Like, yeah, because you didn't give us the ones we wanted.
No.
And now they're not using Boba Fett, but it's a bounty hunter with Mandalorian armor in Mandalorian.
It looks amazing.
Obi-Wan on TV shows because they're like, "Fuck, we should have listened the first time."
Yeah, maybe they
mic drop. I'm going on.
Yeah, well, maybe they knew that we wanted that, and they didn't want to give us movies because maybe they always wanted to give us shows.
I don't think that's
I know that's not the case because they did state that the Obi-Wan thing was in the works, but I think because, like you said, of the backlash that they got from the other spinoff stuff, they were very hesitant to try to make an Obi-Wan movie.
I think if Solo had done
better,
crazy good, you would be getting a movie and not a TV show.
Okay,
yeah, because they said that it had been in the works for a very long time. They had been trying to make it happen, but they just couldn't.
But up until like 6 months ago or a year ago, no, I would say 6 months ago, Ewan McGregor was going on interviews saying like, "I'm waiting for the call."
Right.
Like he's like, "I'm waiting for them to call me so that we can do this," because he's like, "I want to do it. All the fans want me to do it. I'm waiting for the call."
Well, because I from what I read and heard in the news, is like I said, it had been in the works. Like they had a script,
right,
and everything
for a movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they just couldn't get the deal done. They couldn't make it happen. And then now they've decided to do the show because they have the Disney Plus,
right?
And you can dive deeper into the character and his story.
Yeah, realistically, you have more hours of content than just a movie, and then you got to wait, 2 years for another movie if they want to make a saga out of Obi-Wan.
Yeah, but they can give us like what, I don't know, how are they going to be hour-long episodes? 10 of them, maybe 10 hours worth of content, and then next year give us another 10 hours worth of content, another 10-hour story.
I feel I don't know why I might be making this up. 8 episodes.
8 episodes.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's 8.
I can't. I don't know.
Either way, if it's between 6 and 10, you're still coming out with a whole lot more Obi-Wan than you would be every.
And it might be the same amount of story, but it'll be fleshed out more because you have more hours. It's not going to be,
Was there a lot of backlash with Rogue One though? It didn't seem like there was.
I don't think there was backlash, but it was like, I would say both of them were put in average. I would say Rogue One was above average and Solo was slightly below average in terms of backlash.
Okay,
I think a lot of people like Rogue One, but they don't love it, and it's not one of their favorite. I love it.
I actually like Rogue One more than I think it's easy to say you like Rogue One more than The Last Jedi, but I actually almost like Rogue One even more than The Force Awakens.
Right.
But that I just really loved that movie.
I really like. There's a lot of stuff in the Solo movie.
There's a lot of good stuff
really
in Solo.
Fucking cool.
It hits the points that I wanted it to hit.
There's lines that I can't remember the dude's name that plays Han Solo.
I know I can't remember his name either.
But there are lines that he says in that movie. I'm like, was that him or Harrison Ford that just said that? Like he did a good job.
I think he did.
Donald Glover does a great job.
Donald Glover was fucking fantastic in that movie.
That's a good movie. It just wasn't. You're recasting characters we already know and love, and putting a story where like everybody was like, we have the actor to play Obi-Wan. We want this movie. His age works. Make this movie, and they just didn't do it.
I mean, would Solo have benefited from them just de-aging Harrison Ford?
No, I think he's too old.
Yeah,
because you would have to make him younger than what he was in the original.
That's a lot of de-aging.
Yeah, he's up. He's in his 70s.
I mean, I was just asking because I know like it's harder to get into a movie about a character who what he actually looks like, and you're trying to sell me that this other guy is Han Solo, and I'm like, no, he's not.
I think you're right. I think Han Solo. I think that could have been part of it.
Well, I mean, for me, that all that stuff works in Solo. Like, there's not a minute where I'm like, this isn't Harrison Ford. Fuck this shit. He does a good job, and I'm very convinced that like this is just a young Han Solo. Yeah. Like they even put Harrison Ford's little scar that he has on his chin on the I'm like, this is him. He's just younger.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it,
but I'm sure for a lot of people it's
pretty good, really.
An issue. Where they're like, that's not Harrison Ford. This bullshit.
Right.
That And I assume that has to do something with why it didn't do crazy.
I think that's part of it also. I mean, like I said, but even then, I did enjoy the movie, but it certainly wasn't great. So
yeah, it wasn't the best Star Wars movies, but it wasn't the worst.
Oh no, it's not. It's definitely not the worst. Okay. That probably goes to the Ewok adventure.
I don't know if I count that.
It was a movie.
I don't know if it's canon actually.
I don't know if it. It's been years and years and years since I've seen it, and I've only watched it once because it's not good. So
okay, so the Obi-Wan series is supposed to take place a decade before A New Hope.
Okay.
Which means that a Solo crossover is possible, so they could bring that guy in to be on the show.
Right.
They also could do a Darth Maul appearance because he was lurking in the shadows during that time.
Yes.
Because I believe this was during the time when Obi-Wan goes into the desert. Is that not?
So, I'm still on the first part. It wouldn't. Timeline wise, it wouldn't make sense for anything from Solo to cross over because they meet in A New Hope and they don't know each other.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, just because it's when they say crossover doesn't mean he has to meet him. He could just show up on the show. Like he could just happen to be in the same place at the same time.
Yeah,
not meeting him.
Right.
That'd be pointless to do though.
And then what you said,
quick Easter egg for the fans, but
bring up Darth Maul. It would be interesting. No, I don't know, because it's already canon how they meet back up in the
because of the Clone Wars
and Rebels.
Rebels, that's what it is.
Yeah, and they already have their final duel, and he kills them. And if they found an actor to play the main character of Rebels and recreated that live action, that would be pretty cool because it's actually a dope fight scene because it's not a fight. It's weird, but they just stare at each other with their lightsabers drawn, and Obi-Wan initiates Qui-Gon's standard choice of lightsaber style.
Mm-hmm.
And so Darth Maul preps his stance to do what he did to Qui-Gon, and then Obi-Wan changes the stance and fucks him up. So it's cool. He tricks him, and it's very cool, and I like it. And I'm that would be cool to see in live action. I just don't know if they'll do that. It would be cool though. What you are saying is bringing story elements from Solo, with Darth Maul to have Obi-Wan have to go on his own adventure dealing with stuff. Even though the characters don't run into each other, his story is caused by things happening in Solo or vice versa.
Because I didn't see the movie, but is there some kind of Darth Maul Easter egg or something in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's just what...
He's basically the boss of the bad guys.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it's not revealed until the end.
Cool, so I don't have to watch it.
There you go.
Yeah,
I would watch it though. It's not bad. It's on Netflix right now.
I'm probably not going to watch it.
Yeah, that's how I watched it. I don't know if they removed it.
I'm probably not going to watch it.
That's too
bad. I am not the hugest Star Wars person. I don't mind going and seeing the movie.
Yeah,
I'm not putting forth the extra effort.
Well, then you wouldn't mind seeing it.
No, I wouldn't mind seeing it because if I didn't mind seeing it, I would already have seen it by now. It's not. It's just not. It doesn't I don't care enough to make sure I hit all the points for Star Wars. But I am excited about the Mandalorian and the Obi-Wan series.
Then you're gonna be real excited about what we're talking about next.
I know.
You want to kick this off, John, or you want to kick this off, Warren?
John can kick it off.
I kicked everything off.
I know you've been doing such a
you're the
good
Star
job.
Wars guy.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Rey, and no, go ahead.
Well, because I know you guys covered it, so I don't know what you guys have already talked about.
We talked about the special look as a whole. We didn't just dive into it. We didn't dive into any theories about her being a clone or anything. We just said that.
To ruin it.
Well, I'm gonna explain to you.
Okay.
What we said. So we said it's Rey. It's probably it could be a vision because she seems to be in that cave again that she went into. For Last Jedi? Yeah, Last Jedi, where she sees the clones versions of herself, possibly, just the mini replicas of herself, and then she sees the two shadows who people assume are her quote unquote parents. And so it's possible that she was just seeing herself if she was to go to the dark side of herself that she'd be facing, a lot like what Luke had to do when he went into the cave.
Right.
But we didn't dive into a theory that she could be a clone, which is what a lot of people seem to think.
And I love it.
I do too. I hope they go with it.
The idea that there are a lot of Reys out there, or like clones of her, and they're all very force sensitive, force powerful. I guess the biggest question would be like, what is she a clone of? Is there an original Rey, or is she the DNA from multiple force crazy people? Anakin, Palpatine, go down the list. Luke, anybody that is crazy powerful with the force. If she's a clone of all of them, or if there is one Rey, is she the original Rey? Or is she a clone?
I guess the biggest thing is like explanation, because we don't know that the Rey that we are seeing is the actual Rey or a clone Rey.
That's what I said.
I know. Just let me make my point. Let me make my point. So we don't know which one we're looking at. So because of that, we don't know if the actual Rey is even force sensitive at all or not. Because you go, oh, well, how is she so strong? It's like if she's a clone of all these other people, that explains a lot of stuff that has already happened.
Right.
But if you're cloning her from someone who was real, as in Rey, the actual Rey, how strong is that Rey for these clones to? Because do you take into account that they have to be somewhat force sensitive,
right?
Or is it like with Starkiller, where you just create them over and over again until they are force sensitive, till you have one that is force sensitive? Because I would imagine not every clone you make is force sensitive,
right?
So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that even
matters.
Plays out, because the reason why I go with the clone
is
there's 47 of them, but one is the what you said with the cave vision thing,
right?
The force vision thing.
The cave force vision.
Thing. There was a line of her, and she's looking both ways, and there's just more and more of her. And then on top of that, another big reason why I think that the Rey that we see in the trailer with the lightsaber is not her is because it's not physically her. Like, they made her look a lot skinnier. She has a different, she stands differently.
Yeah, and she's very pale as well.
Right.
Like full on dark side.
Yeah, like situation. It's not, and I don't think this movie's gonna have enough time
to do that.
Unless they do a time jump to cover, because we see other clips in the movie where she is just herself with a blue lightsaber.
Right.
And so there would have to be unless this would have to be a whole nother character. Or if it's a Vision, I'm gonna hate this movie, because I don't think you should show stuff like that to psych people out. Okay. And then just do something completely different. Or you shouldn't have shown it at all.
Right. And you said that they don't have time because of that she's like all skinny and stuff. But in episode 3, when Palpatine decides to reveal his true identity, his whole identity changed. He went from being a decent looking person to he
was injured.
Yeah, that was when Mace Windu was fucking
he was shocking Mace Windu, and he sent it, the Mace Windu deflected it, and it went back into him. That's why he looks like that, because he was fried by electricity.
Oh, I just thought that's just how he looked.
Nope.
It's true.
I mean, and they have a little bit of change. They have like their eyes, like Anakin's eyes changed.
Right.
The dark side.
And her eyes changed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's little, but I don't know if, there would have to be a lot of time to completely change your appearance to what she looks like in that shot. But I'm a little disappointed, because when it's the first part, like you just see her with the 2 red blades. I thought she had a one handle that split off into 2. I was like, that's fucking sick. And then it was just a double-sided lightsaber that folds in half.
She might still be able to snap them in half and make 2.
What do you mean?
He doesn't want to. He wants one with 2
one
blades.
Handle that splits off into 2.
Yeah,
because when it's just the blades with her head, that's what I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
Like it was one handle that, what is that?
Good.
Wishbones.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But and like it's cool, like it's still cool. But I'm like, we've had a double-sided lightsaber. Yeah, it folds in half. Cool. But we've had a double-sided lightsaber. Like, I want to see cool.
Disney's so unoriginal.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to see cool lightsaber weapons that aren't a single blade or a double-sided blade.
Well, then we don't have them. They don't exist.
But that's my take on it so far. I have yet to really dive real deep.
Well, so here's some stuff. Okay, so when you pay attention to what's happening in the first vision that she has,
yeah,
and you see herself,
cave vision, or when she picked up the lightsaber,
cave,
okay.
cave. Everything here is based off of cave.
Okay,
CAVE, cave.
What was that?
Cave. So when she snaps, none of them snap simultaneously. It's like a domino effect.
Right.
So she snaps and it's like snap. So that's another reason why people think, oh, maybe there are more of her, because if it was just one thing and when she snapped everybody, it would have been simultaneous, like exact same time. So that was one thing, and I thought that was interesting because I never paid attention to it until it was pointed out to me. It's like, oh, when she snaps and then everything happens after that, right. And she only sees herself, but they all do what she does. It's just delayed reaction, and that's a very interesting thought process because it was like, is she just a clone and it's just her, or is there more of her? And I think that theory supports that she is not the only one, because she saw multiples of herself. Because if she was just a clone and it was just her made of like other people, I would assume the cave would have shown her maybe Luke and Anakin and all these other people, as opposed to just a bunch of herself.
Right.
Because that might mean that she is not an original, but she is a clone of a clone, because all she saw was more of herself.
Right.
And so, as opposed to if she was the original and she was herself, she would have saw something completely different. Or if she was the original clone, she would have seen all the people that she was made from. That's what my opinion is. So I would imagine if she is a clone in that shot, this Rey that we've had this whole time, she is maybe the most perfected version that we've gotten of the ones that have been made, which I personally believe is why Palpatine is being brought up, because I believe he is the one that is doing it. He is making these clones. One of the other theories was that he was able to figure out how to bring himself back. I know that you know more about that, or at least both of you do, than I do, that Sith can't force project themselves.
Correct.
But they can come back through artifacts, or, correct me if I'm wrong, but vessels as well, right? Like if they have a vessel, like a body to be in, that they can come back that way.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, the only problem with them doing that is we just don't know that, because like nobody's done it.
Right.
We don't have any proof of them being able to do any of this stuff. But why?
But there's a first time for everything.
Yeah.
So why? Who better than Palpatine to be the one to figure it out?
Yeah.
You know, and then he's been just hiding, trying to create the strongest Force user in the history of Force users to lead his army,
right? Which
I believe is what those ships are in that shot in the dark, stormy place. And so I feel like this has been his plan the whole time. Snoke was just a puppet, and like, so he knew that, like he did, he killed his master, right? So he knew he needed Ben to do the same to get him where he needed him to be, while Rey was just slowly working her way up to becoming the strongest. So she's the top person, then he's got Ben, then he's got his army, and he's like, what's better than two really strong Force users leading my army to take out, the Republic?
Right.
Three
of us. Me and
three
two.
Would be better.
It would be better. A whole army of them would be better, which is also possibly what could be happening. He could have been just making an army of Force users.
Yeah, there is still the Knights of Ren to come out.
Right, and so that's the other thing too. I was wondering is she going to pretend to join the Knights of Ren, and maybe that's what we're seeing?
The only thing with that is the construction of a lightsaber is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you have to essentially damage your saber or your kyber crystal to make it red. You have to make it bleed. That's why they're red.
Yeah.
And so she would have to have 2 of them. Well, I don't know if you need 1 or 2 for a double-sided lightsaber, but that's a lot of work just to join the Knights of Ren.
Not if you think it's worth it to bring Ben out of the dark,
Right?
Which is something she would do,
right? But I'm pretty sure you have to use you have to be very strong with the dark side to be able to do that to a kyber crystal. So I don't
see why she couldn't be.
I'm not saying that she couldn't.
Because
I'm just saying because people off the
right. I know. I'm just saying that I don't see why she couldn't be. Most people.
My thing with it is that is a lot to pack into a one movie.
Well,
they haven't. If they had implemented little things of that within the first 2 movies,
I would her be infiltrating or her going to the dark side.
Dark side.
I feel like they've hinted
not
at
enough.
What more does she need to do? Actually kill somebody?
Maybe.
I mean, but that's full. To me, that's full on. That's like Anakin killing children. Like that's the full on. To get to cross to that point.
But what they've shown us so far is that she is a pure-hearted good person. Even if they've made what they have hinted, like with Luke being like, I've only seen this power once before. You're gonna be bad. Go away from me.
Yeah, but he also stated that she got by the dark side and she didn't even try to fight it. She was ready to embrace it.
True, but that's still
and because my thing is, I look at other things. I understand that you're saying like the direct reference to her turning bad, but I look at like the way she fights people. Like there's nothing but just unyielding rage when she fights.
Right,
and it's like you're not calm at all, like a Jedi would be. You're literally pulling from your anger for your strength.
True.
Now, granted, she is trying to do the right things, and she always comes back, but I still think we've seen just enough that I could believe that she knows enough about the dark side to go over and use that to bring Ben out, but not get fully consumed by it.
I mean, it's very possible that that's what they're doing, but with them showing us scenes from the movie where she is just regular Rey, there's a lot of scenes where they're fighting, like her and Ben are fighting. And, there's other part. It would be a lot to also add that into this movie.
Maybe.
If they had, started that process, started in the last one saying, I might have to do this to get him out, I would be on 100% on board because I do think that's a cool story.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the other argument against this argument that I am making is that she essentially cut him off after.
Right.
What was it, Last Jedi? She kind of just
because he did straight up. She straight up was like, he was like, "Hey, let's do this. Join the dark side."
And she was like,
"She's like,
well, he didn't say that. He said, join me and let's create something new."
It was more.
He said forget. He said forget the Republic, forget the First Order, forget all of that. The Sith, the Jedi, leave it behind, and let's just make something completely different.
But for him to say that would be a bad thing. He's not gonna join. He's not gonna make a new Jedi Order. He wants to fuck shit up.
He wants to get rid of those orders and make his own
to fuck shit up.
I mean, but he's
not good.
I didn't say he was.
Okay,
but I don't think he's entirely. I don't think he's entirely bad either, though.
But I think when
because he's also had glimpses of turning to the light.
But when I think when he offers that, she's like, "No, this is gonna be bad. I'm gonna join the good guys." I would think when he's asking that, he's like, "Hey, we're both really powerful. We can run this shit. We can kill whoever we want. We can take on anybody." And she's like, "That's not how this is gonna work. I'm gonna be with the good guys."
Okay.
That's the sound of John finishing and making his point.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like they've set it up very well to where we could have her fall from grace or we could have him ascend into redemption.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and I said that could be a hint at why they call it the Rise of Skywalker, because Ben has Skywalker blood in him.
True.
And he could be, this could be a redemption story almost.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what if Rey dies to herself? What if she has to fight that dark clone and she loses, and then Ben has to beat the clone to save the universe? I think that would make
a lot of mad.
I would see more that she doesn't die, but I could see that Ben has to
help her.
Has to fucking partake to save her
partner. Team up.
Yeah, like maybe she gets her fucking ass kicked, and he has to join up, or he has to come in and save her.
That's why he trains her.
What?
He trains her.
Maybe. Okay.
I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff
just
out
throwing
there.
stuff out there. If something's gonna stick.
Well, because remember initially when we got like the original trailers that came out for it, where she was like running and then she flipped over the thing and they made it look like he was flying the ship. I was like, oh, this is a training situation. Like he's training her. So I think if you go back to like that and then you look at that part where they're fighting like in the water on that whatever that wreckage was, I was like, maybe they're just still training. Like maybe that's another training thing. He's like, to really be good, you got to be balanced. We got to fight on this uneven plane with all this other distractions happening.
Right.
We got to figure out how to balance ourselves to fight that kind of situation. It could be that, or that could be the final epic fight that we've been waiting on, which is what I hope is more of that than the. Now I'm just hoping that the whole thing is just an epic fight. They start in the desert. He tries to run her over. She flips over it. They ride
2.5 hours of just fighting.
but I mean, it could be a lot of stuff. I think obviously the most grounded thing is that what we saw was just a vision, and then she's just gonna.
So I'm gonna bring up a point to show everybody that I'm not biased because this is gonna go towards your point. The way the lightsaber sounds, her double-sided lightsaber, is the same way Kylo Ren's shitty ass lightsaber sounds.
Yeah, it looks the same too. It's got the weird waves and stuff.
So, and the reason why his sounds like that is because his crystal's fucked up. It's cracked, and that's why it vents out the sides. That's why he has a hilt, is because it's venting out the side so it doesn't blow up in his hand.
Oh, okay.
And so, if he brings her to the dark and shows her how to build a shitty ass lightsaber, that could be why hers looks like that.
It also could
be a reason why.
Could be why it's just two blades, because when she broke it, completely broke in half. And
that other side, that other side's not another. It is another blade, but it's because it's got to vent out the back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that could be why. Yeah,
but I think they just did that because it's cool.
Because
we haven't had it. Folding.
I'm sure
everything's folding. They're trying to make folding cell phones. They're making folding lightsabers. Everything's fucking. And
and this generation is supposed to be more advanced than us, even though it's in the past. Yeah. So they're like, we got to give them an idea for cool folding stuff. So here it is. The other thing in the trailer is, I guess, are we still talking about the clone, or are we ready to move on? Because I just want to make sure I don't get off topic.
No, you're good.
I think we've covered it enough because there's still
unknown factors.
Well, there's still also the fact that it could just be nothing. It could be a dream.
The scene could not even be in the movie.
Yeah, it could not even be in the movie. That would make you so mad.
Get me fucking started.
That one way to get John triggered. Right there.
Okay, so I have another theory.
Okay.
So Rey, there is going to be some sort of training in this movie. Clearly, you know, she's got like the thing where I don't know if she's force holding the tree, and then she throws the thingy and she has to catch it with her hand.
The fact that she throws a lightsaber, move on. Just the fact that happens is good.
Good, right? Yeah. Okay, so and then I'm very big into like how trailers are cut because I like doing that, and I like paying attention to how directors and editors try to drop subtle hints and stuff, like. They play the Darth Vader noise, the breathing, and they have Palpatine say, I thought you were doing the Darth Vader thing, but you were just yawning. That, your journey has come to an end. And so I'm like, oh, is that him saying like, you, my puppet, I wanted you to go learn the light side so you could know light and dark. And now it is time for you to come back home. Your journey has ended. Kill everybody. And then they do the Darth Vader thing. Then they have her standing there, and that's like symbolism of her being on the dark side. The other thing I saw was like at the beginning of the special look, they're showing all the old movies and stuff. Right. And you hear Luke say, we've taught you everything we know. Thousands of generations now lives in you. And then I was like, what if everybody came back as force projections and they were the ones that were training Rey?
A lot of people think that that's very likely that's going to happen. And like even to the point that they think Hayden Christensen's going to be in this movie.
Right. And so I was like, what if everybody comes back, Yoda, Luke, everyone that's moved on.
It was rumored that the Yoda scene in The Last Jedi was going to be
in this one.
No, Hayden Christensen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then they opted to use Yoda instead.
Because they want to use him in this movie.
Maybe. Or they just didn't have it figured out yet.
Or he just
Or they wanted to wait till they had Ewan McGregor sell his soul to Disney, and he could also be in this movie as well.
Yeah. But I feel like maybe that's what that means. But then going even deeper, you're like, oh, well, what if Ben, like we said with the theory of him rising to prominence and having to be the good guy where she falls from grace, maybe he gets trained by everybody.
Maybe.
And then they're like, we've taught you everything we know. But I feel like everything makes more sense for them to just train her.
Yeah. Well, because I've heard that, because there's a shot in one of the trailers for, I think, The Force Awakens that slipped my brain for a second.
Yeah.
I was like, what was the name of that movie?
It's been so long.
There's a shot in one of those trailers of Darth Vader's helmet that's not in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that he actually gets Vader's helmet in this movie.
Oh,
yeah.
He does?
Yeah.
Really?
Like the original, obtains it, has it.
He doesn't wear it, though.
Well, no, it's fucked up.
I know, but you never know. Some people try weird stuff.
Because there is that shot for the original, for Force Awakens trailer.
Because it was all fried. That wasn't in the movie? He wasn't looking at it, talking to it?
Yeah, it was in the movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
You're talking about it was all burnt up and it was laying on some kind of
in
something?
the trailer, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought that was in the movie. He was talking to it and he was like, show me the way.
Yeah, he was talking about
I feel it slipping.
Yeah, referring to him as
maybe
grandfather.
he gets all of it. I don't know what I'm hearing about him having
There has to be
Vader's shit in this movie. I don't know.
Unless the scene you're talking about is something that I just don't.
I mean, he got his lightsaber.
No, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Maybe he got his
Because
lightsaber.
that one fucking sucks and he needs a new one. That would be crazy if they
made him Darth Vader.
Oh wait, no.
Darth Rilo.
Wait. So she has to construct a lightsaber.
Because she doesn't have one.
She doesn't have one.
Boom.
And she has one in the trailer scenes.
Force projection. They teach her how to make a lightsaber.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a lightsaber?
No, because she was using.
They snapped Anakin's lightsaber in half because they were force pulling it. It got snapped in half. She doesn't.
That was her
lightsaber.
Right, she doesn't have one. She has one in the trailer. So clearly
That's
somebody helps her make one. So either they force projected and helped her make one, or Kylo Ren helps her make a lightsaber. But she's like, I'm not gonna do what you did because yours is fucked up.
So maybe she gets Yeah,
nope, there's nobody left to give her a little jet. There are no more suits. There's no unless there's no more. There's no unless. I was gonna say unless somebody else, but there's no more people.
Right.
Yeah, that's
she's it. Force projections, training, lightsaber.
She just fixes the one that was fucking.
She just duct tapes it together.
Yeah, she just shit. I mean, it's good enough to put an F-150 together.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, because there was two reasons why I knew Luke Skywalker wasn't real in that last battle. A lot of people didn't catch it because one, he was using that lightsaber. I was like, one, it just cracked in half, and two, how did you get it?
Yeah.
And the other reason was when he was taking steps, he wasn't leaving footprints in that red sand stuff, like Kylo Ren was.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Cool observation.
That was a cool scene. That was actually a really cool scene in that movie. I liked it.
It was a cool scene, and I really wanted to like that fight scene, but as we know, the
choreography as a whole was bad.
It was just him raging at him the whole time.
No, the room scene where Kylo and Rey fight the
Imperial Guard kind of characters. Yeah,
it was supposed to be it could have been a really cool scene if they didn't just trash the choreography.
What was it? I know you guys have said this a few times. I don't know what we were talking about
with that scene.
Yeah. So
I thought we showed you.
Oh.
There's a scene where Rey is about to die, or there's a part on that. Like she gets caught up with a guy. Right, and he's holding it to her face or whatever. Yeah, he has another knife in his other hand, and it goes behind something her arm or something where you can't see it for a split second, and then when it comes out the other side, they CGI'd the other knife out. Yeah, because he has her, the way he's holding her with that other hand, just fucking shanked her right in the back. Oh yeah, he would have killed her. Yeah, like she would be dead, but they had to CGI out that other knife so that she could get out of that. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Because it would have made. I mean, if they would have left it in, it would have made him look like the world's worst fucking fighter. The amount of time he was holding her and the amount of time his arm was just hanging there. Yeah. You could have just I would have killed her.
Yeah, people would have been like, "What? This guy is terrible."
And so they caught that in post and had to CGI the other knife out.
Yeah, because his I think his left arm, I think it's his left arm. It goes behind his hip behind him, and then when it comes back, it's magically gone. Yeah.
And then she somehow gets.
He lost it.
Yeah, he just dropped it.
He just threw it.
Like, they were fighting. It was hot. He had that suit on, sweaty.
Exactly,
He just
lost his grip.
For the story, I'm gonna just get rid of this knife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the franchise needs to continue. So I'm just gonna drop this here. They need to
get like the John Wick production company to come.
I don't know if that was bad choreography or bad performance at choreography, but one of those guys has failed their jobs.
I watched somebody like break it down, and there's a lot of
fuck ups
scenes that just doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay.
Like what else?
Like people just fall.
Oh, yeah, it's.
So like, they talk about that in with just stuntmen in general. People just do that.
Yeah, but they don't do that in like John Wick.
No,
or like really high quality action movies.
They do it in Batman.
Which one?
Which is not John Wick.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Technology's changed.
But yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of ways the weapons are being used. They're like, why would you swing it like that when you could have just stabbed them? Like
because we're training. It's like watching a kung fu fight. Like, why would you fight that way? Because it looks cool.
No, not them. The Imperial Guards.
I know.
Dude, they should be the baddest motherfuckers if they get
are.
armor.
That's why they feel like they can.
They are bad. Like not baddest, fucking terrible. Like, I mean, they're dead.
Okay, so well, let's look at it from this perspective.
Yeah,
I'm not going to try to justify the choreography because if it's bad, it's bad.
It's bad,
and I'm very prominent about choreography.
It's pretty, but it's not good.
Okay,
right.
So
that's a good way to describe it, John.
Again, I don't know enough about Star Wars to know about technique and all that, but I do know that if we're going off the theories that we've talked about today, it is very possible that none of them would have been able to win that fight against Ben and her.
Yeah, that's true.
Because she would have been too strong to begin with.
And they should have showed that and not
exactly
done shitty choreography that gives them the upper hand. They should have shown that these are the baddest motherfuckers, but these two killed them.
But I guess my thing is like, but wouldn't it make more sense that because she hasn't had the training? And so it's like, oh, well, we need examples of her just getting by on the fact that she was created from all these other
but the way
people
she got
without
by
the training.
Was them having to CGI out shit.
I mean, but she was. Sense. I mean, I understand that, but I'm saying if we break down the actual scenario, she was trapped and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to drop it, catch it, and I'm going to cut it.
Yeah,
I'm going to throw it." That was just instinctive.
There was two good parts in the whole fight. That part. And then when she throws it at Kylo and he stabs the other guy. The rest of it is not good.
It's the best part of the movie to me.
The lightsaber part,
that whole situation.
Okay.
To me,
I think the best part of that movie is when the worst character in the movie
runs herself into
the. Yeah.
I mean, that was visually stunning, but just for me, that was because I like fights. I don't.
I'm gonna send you a breakdown of it, and you will hate it because I walked out of that movie the same way. I'm like, that was the coolest part, but then when you break down and watch people fall for no reason, people just spinning their weapons at nothing, like just nobody's over there, then CGIing out weapons so that the main characters can live. I was just like, okay, it's not actually good.
I mean, that's just like having main characters do stupid things so that the story can continue.
True.
So
that's not good either.
And we still go and watch these movies.
Yep. Well,
we have watched it and found out that they did that.
I will watch.
I didn't go watch it because I wanted to see the main character do something stupid. I went and watched it because I wanted to see what I wanted to see. We don't ever watch
anything for the main character do anything stupid. They just do, and we're like, why didn't?
Well, it depends on the movie, I guess, because you go watch Dumb and Dumber, So,
but
anyway,
but we should see. Even because even you go back to like the Force Awakens final fight with him and Rey, that wasn't artistically pretty. I don't know how realistic that fight was to people, but
I don't know, man. I really liked that.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was okay.
I really like lightsaber fights, so it wasn't my favorite, but it was cool.
Right, and that's why that's the point I'm making about this fight. I understand that it probably didn't make a whole lot of sense, but we are in a fantasy universe in space where sabers that can slice through an entire anything exist.
Right.
So it's like my thing about it is like everybody complained about that fight between Kylo Ren and Rey. They're like, oh, this is supposed to be a lightsaber fight. We finally get lightsabers and it's trash. Like it's not. It's just they're just swinging. They're not doing any technique. They're not doing anything. Then they give you a fight that actually shows them using their weapons, in an artistic way, so to speak.
Right.
Mainly Ben, because she was just kind of swinging in a blind rage. But you finally get a cool fight scene, and then everyone breaks it down, and they're mad. It's like you can't win with Star Wars people.
I think that's going to be that's very true. That doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to win with Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans are very, 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 very passionate. So.
Yes. Shout out to the Star Wars fans.
Oh yeah.
To me, here's how I will.
I win because you can't talk.
Here's how I will counter that. I walked out thinking that was a cool scene, and then watching breakdowns and watching how they had to fix it, like it wasn't made well, and they had to fix it. I was like, okay, that takes a lot away from that scene. But I can go back to Obi-Wan and Anakin. I watched that scene. I love that scene. It's my favorite Star Wars scene. And you can break it down, and I've watched breakdowns. It's still my favorite Star Wars scene.
Yeah. That is the best lightsaber battle in the entire franchise.
And I've seen people try to make arguments. They're like, this is why this sucks, and they just don't hold up.
No.
Well, it's Obi-Wan's in it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's the best part.
Yeah, so that's why that works. He's impervious to critique.
The argument that people think they get on that fight is they're like, it looks staged. It looks like they know what each other's doing because they have rehearsed this. I'm like, because they've been with each other for 15 years.
They should.
And they're Jedis. They have the reflexes to know what the next person's going to do.
Right.
That's what being a Jedi is. Get out of here. Delete your YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yeah, they should know what the other is doing. They've been fighting together for years.
Especially them two. Like that's the whole idea of fighting with a lightsaber is your reflexes are so good. That's how you can deflect another lightsaber.
Yeah, and you can deflect blaster
on
shots.
On top of knowing each other so fucking well.
Exactly.
That like the whole scene where they're swinging for like 5 seconds. They're like swinging at each other and nothing's happening. People are like, what are they doing? They're like, they're just figuring out what the fuck the next one's gonna do.
Yeah.
And then they do it. Like I don't know. It's perfect. Fuck off.
I mean, I feel like I feel like mirror matches always look staged.
Huh?
Mirror matches. Yeah.
Explain.
It's like it's a mirror match. It's like if me and Brian are wrestlers in the WWE and we're both acrobatic, we both have the same style of wrestling. It's a mirror match.
Right.
We do the exact same stuff.
Right.
It's gonna look staged because it's a mirror match. Like that's what that fight was. Mm-hmm. It was a mirror match. If he had already been kind of training in the art of the dark side, fighting as a Sith, maybe you could make that argument, but he was using his Jedi training.
Right.
So it was like if he was using his Sith training, he starts out with the Jedi and stuff. Oh, lure you in. Oh, you think oh, I've switched it, I win. But he didn't have that. And to me, he wasn't grounded. He wasn't calm. And anyway, he was fighting with pure rage.
Unyielding
rage. And so it allowed Obi-Wan to be able to predict his movements even better.
Right.
That's how I look at it because he was calm. He was like, look, you're my friend. I don't want to kill you. I don't want to kill you, Jesus Christ. Like that. And then he killed him. Well, he didn't kill him, but he
tried to stop him. He was like, you don't got this. I have the high ground. Bitch.
And then I like how he comes back as Darth Vader still talking shit. I am now the master. It's like, dude, no, you lost. Like, it's over.
Dude, you don't have any legs.
Everybody wants a movie about me. Like, we don't even need a movie about you. Like, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I think if I had to pick 2 spin-off movies to have, it would be the same time period, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. It's like, it would be crazy to see Darth Vader, like, go on, or maybe, like, the first year after Episode 3. Where Darth Vader's just going on like a Jedi hunting rage.
Right.
And the whole movie is just crazy acrobatic lightsaber battles with Darth Vader.
But he's not doing the acrobatics.
No, because he doesn't have to because he's that powerful. Right. Other people have to do everything they can and he's just like, bitch. He slaps him with his robot arm.
When's my 12:30?
Right.
It's like
I heard they did want to make a Darth Vader movie.
They should.
They did.
Yeah, that takes place right after Episode 3.
I guess
That
1, 2, and 3
would have
are.
to do.
They
Darth
did.
Vader.
Those are
They made a
Darth Vader movies.
series. Yeah, they made a saga.
Origin.
I mean, essentially, the first 6 movies are really all about that. Honestly,
All these movies are about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's definitely about the whole saga so far is about
The point
how
is-
the
the
Skywalker
point-
family fucked up the entire galaxy.
The point is, J.J. Abrams didn't do the second movie, and that's why that debacle with the fight scene happened.
Yeah.
And
very
that's why
possible,
this
yeah.
one's going to be better, and he's coming in to clean it up with the
Yeah.
clone theory, because he was like, that's not even, where were you guys going? Like, I had this thing planned out perfectly. I told y'all what to do. You didn't do it.
But I still don't dislike The Last Jedi. I still think it's a good movie. I don't think
Yeah.
it's great,
Well,
but there's a lot of
that
things
scene,
that I still like
that
about
scene,
that
that one
movie.
scene goes in like top Star Wars moments when she what the fuck is it called?
She
Hyperdrive?
warp drives right into
That other
yeah.
like the sound design and everything and the light design
It
when
was
she
great.
does that and it goes completely silent.
It was great.
It's one of the best scenes in
Yeah,
any of
that's
the Star Wars movies
freaking
because
awesome.
nobody
Yes, yeah.
they haven't done that before.
It was
Yeah.
it was definitely one of the best scenes. That's where I differentiate, because I was like, oh, that fight scene was like my favorite. To me, one of the best parts. Obviously, that was one of the best scenes in the movie, but just for me personally, that
Right.
fight scene was like one of the best parts of the movie to me. So that's where I think people lose people, especially like Star Wars. And like,
yeah.
there's no way that can be because she flew through a thing and then the sound went away and that was exactly how it would happen in real life. Like, you don't know. You've never been in space. So, so stop. But it depends. I think because people are so passionate about these things, certain parts hit people in certain.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's harder to argue with.
Well, like I strongly disliked that character. Like I hated every second that she was on screen.
Yeah.
And then when she did that, I was like the whole movie. I'm like, why are you here? Why do you exist? Please stop being a character. And then she did that, and I was like, finally, she had a purpose, and she can be done.
Yeah.
And she was.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly, swiftly.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that movie that I don't like. Like when I first watched it, I was like, "This is fucking amazing." I thought it was fantastic. And then the more I've watched it, I have definitely been like,
I need to watch it again. I don't.
There's
think
some stuff that I really wish they'd have done differently. Like I can't stand the Leia force pulling herself back to the ship.
Yeah, that
from
was a lot,
space. I
too.
hated that.
We needed it, I guess.
I hated it. I absolutely hated that.
I don't know why we would have needed it, but
They should have just had her not in that fucking room. You know what I mean? Like, she's never shown any inkling towards ever using anything
we had
force
to
related. But
justify-
now, out of nowhere, she's able to force pull herself back from
Okay.
death.
Okay.
Sheer death.
So I get why people feel that way, but you have to venture out and go. Just because somebody can do something does not always mean that they will do something.
True, and we've had 30 years of not knowing what the fuck she's been doing.
It's very true. That's very
but
true.
I agree with both of you, because I think that's not how they should have shown that.
Right.
I think they could have just blown the room up, and she could have just used the force to like stay in the room until she like got into
Yeah.
the like a lock room,
Mm-hmm.
and then just like been so overwhelmed because she used so much power to do that she got comaed or
Coma eyes.
had to go heal up just like she does in the
Yeah.
movie. I think flying through space was
a bit,
unnecessary.
It was a bit much.
A lot much. Unnecessary.
Well,
Anyway,
So
we've strayed
we-
so far.
huh?
We've strayed so far
So have they?
from the original topic. I want to bring up one more thing about the clone thing. One real quick.
One more clone.
To me, like when I think of like her being a clone and her parents being what happened to her, that whole situation.
Oh, I didn't give my. I have to give my theory on that.
So I think that there was a clone program, and there just happened to be whoever the original person is, the original Rey. If she was very force sensitive and strong, that just happens to be all of these clones are also force sensitive and strong. And it was a thing where like if you want to have kids and you can't or something, you go get this clone. Like it's like an adoption agency of these cloned babies, and that's why the parents have her. But then, if the parents really were drunk, whatever Kylo says in the movie, they had to get rid of. They couldn't. They're like, oh, we don't need this kid. We can't have this kid. We'll just leave her here with this junk man. And then again, the other Rey is just another clone that is dark.
Right. Well, you can debunk this theory. You've been debunking them all day.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I can debunk my own theories because all of them are trash.
But I'm just going to throw this one out.
Okay.
And then I'm done. I'm wiping my hands clean. So there was the other theory of who she saw, who those two shadows were that she saw was supposed to be her parents.
Right.
It has been theorized that those shapes, if you pay close enough attention, look a lot like Han and Chewie. Okay. So bear with me.
All right.
It's probably reaching.
Okay.
But
all of them
it makes a little bit of sense. Okay. Are you still with me? No. Okay. So basically, I was like, what if? Because I believe there's a off-world facility that Palpatine had that he was using to make the clones, right?
Okay.
It was like a secret location, like off the books. Nobody knew about it.
Okay.
And I think that's where he was making these clones.
All right.
Where he gets Rey.
Okay.
Possibly Han and Chewie stumble upon this place.
Oh, okay.
And they rescue this person because they don't know she's a clone. They just see this kid and they're like, "Oh shit, we got to get you out of here. You don't deserve this kind of life." Then they steal her from this facility. The facility's like, "Oh, it's the Millennium Falcon. It's Han Solo and Chewie. We got to get them." And then it's like, to save her, they drop her off on this place. They trade her or whatever, and her and the Millennium Falcon for a ship because they're going to be looking for the Millennium Falcon, which is why the Millennium Falcon is on that planet, and which is why she knows how to fly it because he was showing her how to fly it on his way to these different places while they were running, maybe going on an adventure or whatever. Then that's why he wanted to take her in so bad because he already knew who she was and he felt like he owed her something because he saved her and he left her there and he felt bad about it. And then that's why she has those connections. So I was like, maybe that could also be why she sees who she sees in that cave.
I mean, all the facts of your theory are more plausible than any of the clone stuff because there's nothing to hold any of that up other than theories where that's like, that could be grounded in what we already know.
Yeah.
Because we don't, with her force visions, we don't know what any of that means because it's just force vision. Like Luke saw his own face inside Vader's helmet. Like, what the fuck? We know why. Like, because he didn't want to succumb to the dark side. But we don't know what any of the force visions mean until we actually see what they mean.
Right.
And so that actually holds up more ground than anything we've
discussed all day.
Because it makes more sense with what we've already seen.
Yeah.
But I don't think
knew there's a butt coming.
Yeah, I was waiting for it too.
The only thing that I guess we don't know how old she was when she got dropped off because she thinks she has parents. When I would think if you,
it says she's 19, isn't she?
No, when she got dropped off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought. Well, do we not know how long it's been since?
You can count the scratch marks on her fucking wall.
I mean, I don't know.
There might be a line.
I was just asking because I think they said she's 19.
There might be a line
now or something
like
that.
But if she is old enough to, I think you would remember an old guy and a giant dog as your parents.
A walking carpet.
I mean, I would assume you would remember that too. But what else would her explanation be for just knowing how to fly a Millennium Falcon?
I think a lot of that came with
like
the
muscle
force.
memory.
Maybe, but I don't. That would be a lot for a 4-year-old.
I mean, but I don't even remember being a 4-year-old.
Exactly.
So why would she remember them?
I don't. I mean, why? When I was 5, I knew 4 or 5. I knew who my parents were.
Yeah, but you live with them every day. She didn't live with them every day. Just enough days to get to that planet.
But she knew she has parents, and I imagine she has an idea of who her parents are. There's 2 people that. Because she can't be waiting for just 2 random people to come back that she doesn't know. Then she would never know who was coming back because there's 2 random people every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, why didn't she walk up to the two random people that showed up out of nowhere and been like, Mom, Dad?
Right.
You know, she probably did that at least 4 times a week.
Right.
We don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But with what you're saying, if she does know how to fly the Millennium Falcon because of when she was a kid, then she would know that Han and Chewie are the people who saved her.
Because because the relationship in the movie, it kind of seems like she feel like she knew that already.
Right.
Like the way that she kind of acted when they first landed to where I don't remember this stuff. I'm not good with the Star Wars stuff. But they land and then he like tells her to be on his team or whatever, and they go talk to that lady with the glasses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a really father-daughter moment.
Yeah.
It's almost like she was remembering that they were the reason she was there or alive or whatever.
Right.
Like she really started to look at him as like a dad, almost like remembering it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, because we don't know that maybe something happened. Like, because she literally could have had her memory wiped too, and we don't know.
True.
So
There could have been something that that some technology that they have.
yeah, he was like, wipe her memory, by the way.
Right.
Because we don't need her knowing, because we don't need her saying anything or coming to look for us or look for anybody. Because we got to keep her safe. Maybe.
So many theories.
So many theories, so little time.
I still think that a lot of people are still leaning towards the she's a child of the Force theory, you know?
I don't like that theory. I don't even like that Anakin's a child of the Force. I just think we don't need these Jesuses walking around.
Okay.
I don't.
Jesus.
I just don't. I don't know. It's weird to think that. I like the idea that she has to come from something that's that Force powerful to make her even more powerful. Like, if Obi-Wan's descendant and a Skywalker descendant came together and made Rey
descendant.
Yeah. That's why she would be so powerful, But I guess she could be a child of the Force.
Yeah.
Or a clone.
I mean, if they do make her that, would you call that lazy writing?
A little bit.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Because
actually.
it's already been done.
Yeah. I don't want her to be. I used to want her to be a child of the Force, but I don't think I do. I've heard so many other more creative theories now that I'm just like, yeah. I think that making her a child of the Force is just
if they went into it and actually explained more lore behind being a child of the Force, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because we have a child of the Force, and then they spent 3 whole movies
cutting his leg off.
Yeah, like I don't know.
But I guess this child of the Force was supposed to bring balance.
And he did.
He did. Yeah.
He did in a really weird way.
I mean, yeah.
So then you have Ben Solo being brought up in the darkness, and you're like, "Oh, we don't have balance anymore." So then she's just here because
that could be why. That's not a bad idea.
And that sucks
because
it sucks. Like it's because you're just like it's because it doesn't because then you start looking. So then do we ever have Childs of the Force that are dark outside? Because every time they've been born and brought to the light, whereas we haven't come across one that was born into darkness.
You go back and you listen to some of the stuff, like, a lot of the ways they explain the Force is that the Force is what binds everything together and it creates balance. And when there's imbalance in the universe, maybe that's the Force's way of stepping in and being like, hey, it's time to bring balance back.
Well, I think because
there's a child of a Force.
I think if there was somebody in this new saga that was I wouldn't say manipulated, but driven by the Force to bring balance, it's Ben. Because
it seems like it, actually.
Luke was building a Jedi Order, and there was nothing against the Jedi. I mean, you've got Jedis, but no Siths, and then he killed them all. And then there was Luke and Kylo. And then I don't really consider Snoke. He's just there. Like, he wasn't a Sith.
He was the puppet.
Right. And so it was back to 2. And then they both dead. No, Kylo's alive. Luke's dead, but Rey filled Luke's spot, and then so there's this still kind of balance going on. Unless Palpatine's like just chilling somewhere, he's like, I'm gonna fuck shit up again with all these clones.
Yeah, imbalance.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's gonna be interesting.
That's when the kid with the broom has to come in.
Oh yeah,
and balance it.
They said this takes place quite a bit of time after the last movie.
Ooh,
really? Yeah.
Maybe he's the one that was in the shot with the double. He just force projecting her on him. He's using like camouflage.
Now that's lazy writing right there.
Now you're reaching.
That's not lazy, Brian. I really had to come up with that shit just now.
That's what we call a reach.
Like her lightsaber.
Yeah. Double wielded, or double sided fold. That's what I'm calling it. With a hinge in the middle that locks.
This is how you describe it.
It's got to.
Yeah.
Well,
the only thing that
magnets.
The only thing that like makes me think that it could be her is that she already uses a staff as a weapon, and that type of lightsaber is more of a staff type of weapon than a regular lightsaber.
It's possible.
So
yeah,
it's all coming together.
It's all coming together because that's their natural weapon of choice. Because she's a clone.
Yeah, well, that's what I don't know if that is that something that would be clone. Because like I feel like her having that staff from The Force Awakens is because that's all she had access to.
Yeah, but naturally she was trained to use it.
But then she's also using a regular lightsaber.
Yeah, but that's just because they were trained to use it.
Okay.
Because think about, I look at it from this way. So Palpatine, Darth Vader was like his strongest apprentice, right?
Well, yeah.
But Darth Maul was his most effective apprentice.
I would say most effective.
Well,
I mean, Anakin killed everybody.
Yeah,
everybody.
Listen, I'm
Darth
just saying.
Maul was not effective at all. He killed Qui-Gon. Boo-hoo.
That's nobody else killed him.
Okay, nobody else killed 100 million Jedi. Well, I mean, Vader didn't single-handedly kill all the Jedi.
Yeah, no, it was a whole.
Like, I'd say he's got at least 100 under his belt.
Yeah,
if you count the younglings.
But Darth Maul was everything that Palpatine wanted in his Sith. I feel like.
I don't think that's true at all.
Why? How not?
If you watch a lot of the Clone Wars stuff, he didn't really like Maul because he failed.
Because he failed, in theory, going into it, he was everything he wanted him to be.
A little bit.
And so,
but
why
so
not model?
Dooku,
why not model?
So
right. So why not model it after him?
Well, we don't know if Palpatine's behind her being like that.
I feel like
I won't be surprised one bit if this movie has nothing to do with Palpatine and he's only in one of Ben's visions laughing crazy like that.
Yeah, he could be a ginormous red herring.
I would really like if he was. I don't want him to be back at all.
I want him to be back.
Well, you're not a true Star Wars fan, so
woo!
I'm just kidding. I'm just tired of like doing the same shit, you know.
But these movies are all supposed to tie in. I feel like the clone story with him being behind it really ties everything together. Does it not?
No.
How? Okay.
Well, he's dead. His story's over.
But not if he found a way to bring himself back.
But we don't need it.
Why don't we need it?
Make more shit.
We are making more shit.
No, they're not.
He
they're
created
shit
a
they made
Sith
20 years ago.
Army. We have never had that before.
They did. He had a clone army. You should give them lightsabers. They had a Sith army.
Okay, we haven't had a Sith clone army with lightsabers and force sensitive.
But we don't know there's an army. We
don't know.
So
but
far.
if he does, if he's behind it, then we probably get that.
Maybe.
And then we get that fight scene in the Old Republic video game where all the Jedi fight all the Sith. It's like a little
if they
army.
do that, it's worth it. But if they don't, I don't want anything to do with Palpatine. Get out of here, you old wrinkled man. He's been in it since the get go. He wasn't in episode 4.
He's got
but
consistency.
We don't need him anymore.
We need his consistency.
No.
He's consistent.
If they were gonna bring back somebody from that time, I would rather it be a force projection of Anakin or Vader, either for good or, and they might do that anyway. They could show the good Anakin for Rey and bring in the dark Anakin, Darth Vader, for Kylo Ren.
Darth Anakin.
But get Palpatine out of here.
We need him.
I never liked him anyway.
I feel like we need him for that clone thing to work, though.
No, because like I said, there could have just been a clone program, and
he started.
If he started it, that's fine. Fucking 30 years ago. I don't need him in this movie.
It's recent.
No.
Yeah.
And to me, it goes back to where if they had done other things like that already, that makes this make sense.
They did.
But the thing is they just haven't shown us old Sith being able to do a lot of that stuff.
Because he was the first one to figure it out. We need him.
I'm shutting this shit down.
I love this. Is my favorite episode so far that we've ever recorded.
This is a very knowledgeable Star Wars
usually it's John and I getting into the nice heated discussions, but being able to sit and watch you two do it when I know you're only saying what you're saying to make him mad is really making me happy.
Well, what you have what
did you say earlier that fucking? Oh, you were like, what if this scene's not even in the movie?
Oh yeah. What if this movie is not even the movie?
Yeah. What if everything they've showed is just not
a
movie, and then they just go to
part of me really hopes that scene isn't in the final cut because I want to see ultimate triggered John.
I hope that they release this movie and everybody goes to see it and it's just episode 2 again.
We get to see the force cut moving of the little potato under her fucking fork that looked so bad.
I think it was a pear.
It was a pear, yeah, whatever. It was some alien vegetation.
Everything was bad.
Oh man!
Except for the arena and the fight scene afterwards.
Yeah, every single one of those first 3 movies did have some really cool shit in them.
No, I mean, no, not even that. Just the arena scene where they come in and save them, and then the actual battle scenes.
Where we got to watch Mace Windu whoop some ass and shit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about when they go fight him and then Anakin.
That's not my favorite lightsaber fight.
That wasn't a bad one though. That was pretty good.
I just didn't know because you just said and then the fight at the end. So I was like, I
think episode 1 probably the pottery scene was a lot of fun.
Yeah, every single one has great things. Yeah. They just did weird things as well.
Yeah. All right, guys.
How long have we been talking about this shit?
45 minutes.
No, that's not true at all.
We're an hour and 21 into the episode.
Yeah,
so
we got to wrap this up.
No, that's not true at all.
We don't have to do anything. You're right. We could go on for 2.5 hours. And
that's what he said. Because I said 45 minutes, and he said, no, that's not true at all.
I mean, at least 45, but definitely more.
So, any final thoughts, you two?
We need him.
We need him.
If he's in this movie,
we need him in the movie and that not in the movie, so we can get an ultimately pissed off John for our New Year's Eve episode, probably. Nope, or some shit.
I'm excited. When does this movie come out?
Comes out around December. Christmas time.
It's gonna be the first week or 2 of December because it's always like the 11th or like the 14th.
All I know is it's gonna be the story of a generation. And we need him.
Hold on, everybody. I'm getting release date.
Palpatine has the release date.
Oh, no, it's late. The 20th.
Oh, okay. So
I feel like the 19th is a number I was thinking of that one of them was released.
Well, it'll actually probably be released at midnight on the 18th. And then they'll be showing it all the 19th and officially released on the 20th to the final 2,000 theaters after the initial 3,000 theaters sold out. Well, it's hard to tell when a movie comes out anymore nowadays. You say, "Hey, releases on the 24th." When did you see it? The 8th. Well, like 2 weeks later? No, like 2 weeks before.
So. That's like Far From Home came out on like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like why?
Yeah, it came out
what
on
are
a
you
Tuesday.
Guys doing?
Yeah, it was the 4th of July release, and it released on the 4th of June. It felt like it came out that far before its actual release date.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Well, why don't you let us know what you think? Maybe hit us up with some of your theories. And it's a very aggressive sip for. But hit us up on Twitter at ZC_podcast. Hit us up on Facebook at Zero Cred Podcast. And also, if you want to help out the podcast, I hope the answer to that question is yes. Leave us a 5-star rating and maybe write us a review on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
Well, we can't see them.
We will talk to you guys on the next episode.
Yep. We need them.